Do you ever get overwhelmed with brand new ideas that come into your mind at those random times and you're like, I don't want to forget it. How can I stay on track with my goals, but also actually being able to get those ideas into action and implement them? So, today I'm going to give you 5 steps that are going to help you get your ideas from your mind into action, but without the overwhelm. So, I'm going to take you through my 5 steps that I do because I get ideas all the time and I get really, really excited. But what I find is that sometimes it either derails me and it can be a huge distraction, but also there's things that I know I really want to implement it. And it's a case of being organized and making sure that I can get those things actually actioned. Because I don't know if you're like me, but the amount of ideas that have either gone unactioned, unfinished, and unpublished is unreal. So that's what we're going to be talking about today in today's Brilliantly You business show. So I help you with their marketing and their mindset. That's the two things that I help. So I really help you to create more sales and impact by teaching you how to build your business online with online marketing strategies that work and constantly update, and also with that mindset piece, because you can't do one without the other. You can be the best marketer in the world, but if your mindset is kind of down the swanny, it does not matter. And also vice versa. You can have the best mindset, but you also need to be able to know how to do things effectively. So I love, that's what I do, is helping you to be able to grow your business confidently and help you make more sales and impact without the self-doubt. Let's dive into today's topic. So that kind of prompted me to do this subject today, and this topic about getting your ideas into action, but also without the overwhelm. So the start of April, it was kind of like it was the start of a new month, but also the start of a new quarter. And the quarter one was awesome. I was so organized. I had my clear goals. Like, everything was just amazing. I started this brand new show, which I love. I had my routine, and when it got to the end of March, I then created the next quarter goals. And so I set those new goals. But a lot of the stuff that I set was things kind of in the background. Like, I've got a target of how many sales I want to make of a certain product that I've just launched, I've just released, setting some Facebook ads up and stuff like that. And I kind of forgot to focus in on like the content and what were the offers going to be from the front facing things, like for this show. And it kind of sent me in a bit of a spin. It sort of sent me in a bit of a tiz, because suddenly then I found myself a bit off course. I found myself a bit sort of, oh, what do I do? What do I talk about? Because I hadn't taken that time like I had previously for this month. And so it was a bit of a shit show, to be honest, like, in a good way. Like I say, it wasn't a complete shit show, but I really noticed how things were shifting. Also, I think I talked a little bit about this a few weeks ago about self-trust. And so a big kind of blocker for me in my business for the last few years, especially once I got some of those real fundamental skills down with marketing and creating content and stuff like that, and I was starting to venture more into doing my own things rather than promoting affiliate products, as I was creating my own courses and things like that. But I was finding that I was doubting my ideas, or not getting my ideas actually actioned in the first place, because I was then getting doubtful. I was then feeling that imposter syndrome coming in. I was wondering, can I pull this off? Or I just didn't really have much of an actual strategy to be able to, get things into action without having that doubt devil on your shoulder, then, getting in your ear, trying to take you off course. So I worked on that a lot towards the end of last year, and it's been an amazing shift in myself. And so I talked about this in one of the previous shows about self-trust, and So it's been massive. So I've kind of had a bit of a good problem. And so this is where I'm going to sort of cover both sides of ideas today, because um I get ideas. So who I'd love to hear from you if you get ideas at those random times. I'd love to hear from you. What are the random places that you get ideas spring into your mind? Share that with me. My The ones I tend to get the most is when I'm just before I'm about to go to sleep. Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep because I'm thinking I've just got this sort of little idea is just coming into my mind. And then I start exploring because I'm quiet and I'm still and I'm not trying to do, a million other things at the same time. I my mind starts going and running with ideas, which is great. Like, I love getting the ideas, but have you ever had that but forgotten them the next day? Just give me a little hand raise if you have forgotten great ideas. And you're like, oh, damn it, I had a really good idea last night, but I can't remember what it was. You've ever had that? Just drop me a one if you've ever had that yourself. The other thing, though, is also so now what I do. So a little tip for you in terms of how to organize your ideas when if they come in the shower. I get ideas in the shower. It tends to be when you are more still. It tends to be, like I say, when you stop, um, that those ideas come into it. And say it might be an idea for a product. It might be an idea for a content, like a Facebook Live, for example. It might be an idea for a sort of framework, things like that. Yeah, saying I don't have the time or capacity to deal with it. Yeah, so it's about how do you take that idea that you think, oh, I like that, and actually organizing it to see, is this something to do? And I'm going to cover the 5-step process with what I do. But it's to say it's kind of you need that time to allow the ideas to come, because, like I say, that's where some of the best things come from. I've had some amazing ideas that have come when I'm in bed. So what I do, a little kind of bonus tip that's not included in the 5 steps, but a bonus tip, if you're like me and you get ideas when you're trying to sleep, um, I now, if I get something and I've been thinking about it for, 5-10 minutes, something, and I think, yeah, actually, do you know what? That's something really worth jotting down. Is I will make myself open my eyes, quickly get my phone out, get in the notes app, and I've got a folder that is ideas. And I just put them in there. And then at least I know I've jotted it down and then I can come back to it later. So if you at least want to capture your ideas, I kind of feel like I want to get one of those waterproof things that you can stick up in the shower. That would be great. Like a little whiteboard that is waterproof. That would be cool. Um, I came up with a song randomly in the shower last week. I was like, oh, that's a good song. I've never written I think I've written one song before in my life, but I was like, oh, I like that. So anyway, so say you want to at least you've got to give yourself those opportunities to be creative, to have that time where your brain can just go off and come up with things. Okay. So don't shunt it. You want that time. But like I say, if it's when you're trying to sleep, or you're driving, how might you be able to capture that in the moment, and then you can come back to it later and then go through this next 5-step process. Okay. So, like I say, so recently I've had almost a good problem where I've had so many ideas that I was then, because my self-trust has gone up from here to here, meaning I always used to doubt my ideas. I used to feel like I needed somebody else to kind of validate them before I actually really got it stuck into it. And that was just causing me to have so many ideas undone. I might just do a little bit on it and then I'd think, oh, and that doubt would start creeping in. So by working on my own self-trust issues with what's causing me to doubt my own intuition, has meant that for the first few weeks of this month, I was a bit I was doing this offer and I was doing that, creating something else. And that wasn't necessarily the most effective thing. So after a break, after a bit of time to just chill and, you say, have a few days away. And I wanted to talk about this today because, like I said, you don't want to stop the ideas from coming, but how can you be more organized with them? Organize it strategically. That's what I'm thinking of, okay? So in terms of the 5-step process. So number 1 is get your ideas down. Like I say, however you like to do that. Brain dump it. So say you might get those ideas come about randomly, like I just mentioned. So get it down. If it's on a post-it note, if it's on your phone, at least on your phone. Again, if you've got an iPhone, I don't know, I'm assuming that Android phones have some kind of notes app. But I use an iPhone. So if, I use the notes app and I have got folders, I've got ideas, content ideas. I've got just other random business things. I've got loads of different folders. So maybe create a folder that is for ideas if you want, or whatever, however you want to label it. It doesn't matter. But at least if you do keep it somewhere central, it means it's easier for you to find. I mean, I also do love posts. So I always have loads of bits of paper and post-it notes. So I try to, I then get it down somewhere else. So I also use Trello. I love using Trello for my 90-day action plans. And so I've now created a section that is for brain dump. So I can get the ideas down there, and then it's going to help me then with the next 4 steps. All right. So first off, get it out of your mind and brain dump it somewhere that will work for you. If you are a paper person, that's cool. Maybe even get yourself a little notebook that's specifically for ideas. If you want to keep it into one place, you can easily get your hands on it to look through. Okay. But again, do what works for you. Then I want you to ask yourself, so the next piece is it easy for you to do kind of right now? Is it easy for you to do and implement? Or is it going to take up a lot of your time? So, for example, is it a short term, quick thing? Like, is it something where um, you could easily create a training like a masterclass, or do a little Facebook live, maybe that was in a group? Like, is it something that could be quite quick and easy to do, or is it something more for the longer term? So if you had a new course idea, well, that's going to take quite a lot of time, energy, you know, doing all the marketing pieces for it, writing posts and emails and stuff like that. That's a bigger project. So it's asking yourself, is it something bigger? Is it something small that you can do? Is it something that is maybe timely? Like, if you want to do an example, I'm going to give you an example. I after being in a few different coaching programs and masterminds and stuff, I really love some of these planning days and stuff that I do. So I gave myself a planning day, and I'd say I missed. Ironically, I missed one piece that actually was probably the most pivotal. But hey, we're not perfect. None of us are perfect. But even just doing a planning day, I thought, actually, there's lots of people that could find just getting together with somebody with some structure of how to have a 90-day action plan. And so I've sort of started to create this project for, like, in January I was going to do a planning thing, but then again it never quite finished. So I've got many examples like that. So if it's something timely, where is it a new year thing? Is it something holidays, like creating some kind of holiday Christmas selling training, like whatever? So it's asking yourself, is it timely? Is it going to be fairly easy for you to do and quick for you to do, or is it more of a longer term idea, a strategy? Okay. Then what I want you to do is then park it for a few days. Because you know what it's like, isn't it? We get an idea and it's exciting, and you get a bit of a buzz and you get the endorphins go, oh, something new and something exciting. Let's do that because it's more fun. So by at least getting it out of your head, asking yourself a question with, is this something easy? Is it going to take a bit more time and energy? Is it something short term, long term? At least helps you to get a bit of the emotion out of it and a bit more logic. And then I want you to just park it for a few days. Then, so step 4, okay, so step 1 is to brain dump. Step 2 is to ask that question, short, long, big, small. Step 3, park it, okay? Then step 4 is to come back and prioritize your ideas. So go back through that notes app, the Trello board, the post-it notes. You could use a whiteboard. Like I've got a big whiteboard up here, which you can't quite see. However you like to work. All right. You might have pieces of paper on a floor and you might want to, whatever, does not matter. So prioritize them. So then look at those tasks and go, and again, another question to ask yourself, a bit of a sense check. Does this fit in with your current 30 or 90-day action plan, if you have one? So if you are somebody that does create at least a 30-day plan, again, with that short, long term, the shorter thing, if it's something shorter, does it fit in with your current? I put 30 to 90 days because people are different. I used to do more of a 30. Now I'm doing more 90, but even it's a bit more fluid, So does it fit in with your current maximum, I'd say 90-day goals? Can it support those goals? Or is it going to take you off into a slightly different direction and take you off course? So that's a really good sense check. Because it's so easy to get swept up in the excitement and do fun stuff if you're like, oh, you're just doing the day to day. And it's always fun when you get something new and exciting to do. The downside, though, is it can take you off your goals. So that's where just having that 4th step where you just ask yourself, have your goals in front of you again, however you like to organize it. I use Trello. So that's where by having my brain dump in Trello, it means I can easily then add things into my plan and keep things in like a backlog kind of thing for later. So prioritize it. So again, ask yourself, does it support your current 30 to 90-day goals? Yes, no. If no, okay, well, maybe it can wait. Then step 5 is then, so if it is something that can fit into your 90-day plan, well, then you can either add it into that month and go, okay, if it's something supporting, or it's something that, if you've got a revenue goal and maybe you're struggling to get one particular thing going, if it's a bit of a kind of cash injector, that can actually be useful. It's supporting your goal, but it depends on what your goal is, really. It's just making sure, is it going to take you off or is it going to help support that? So you can either then add it into your plan and see, okay, how might you be able to get this to work? How might you be able to quickly get this new idea up and running if it's something small? Or, like I say, I've created like a holding area, a backlog. And so then you can come back to that list when you do your next 30, 60, 90-day plan, and then look at those ideas and go, is this still something that I'm excited about? Is this still something that I want to do that fits in line with where you're going? And again, so you might end up going, actually, no, not anymore. The novelty's gone. I don't think this actually is going to be effective for me to do. So you can either just delete it or you can just leave it there in like a backup, whatever. So it's a really great way of organizing your ideas, because say, I am somebody, I love creating. So that's why sometimes it's a bit of a downfall. But really, when I came up with this 5-step, when I was thinking about this yesterday, I was like, what's really helped me over the last few months, particularly because I say I've done a big shift in my own action taking, consistency, I've always had ideas, but now I've got more. And I say I've got another sort of section to this about the self trust, which I've already kind of mentioned. So now that my self trust is kind of sky high right now, it's been a good thing where I've been, jumping on ideas because I'm not allowing the doubt to get in. However, some things were slightly taking me off. So I've done a bit of a course correct and a bit of a check-in with these and going, right, okay. And like I say, I created this. I'll have to do maybe a masterclass or something, say, about creating that action plan, especially if you do love organizing things and I love Trello, and I can show you how I do mine. And I'm always evolving. I'm always kind of trying different things and seeing what things work. Like I say, it's having that good problem. So how can you take your actions, your ideas from your mind into action, but like I say, without that overwhelm? So like, there's a comment here. I can't see who it is. So you must be watching this in my Facebook group. So like this person mentioned, so apologies, I can't see you. If you are watching this from my group, just give Be Live permission. You can do that from there should be a link in the description. But like, don't have the time or capacity to deal with it. So if you get an idea and you don't have the time or capacity to deal with it, then have it in that holding area and then you can come back to it later. So it means you're not dismissing it. You're just acknowledging that this is something that I really, really want to do, but I'm going to then look at how I might be able to fit it into when I can, or how can you create capacity? How can you create the time to do it? Or does it need to just move back in when you do it? So you're not losing great ideas, but you're just being more strategic and intentional with them, which is great. Okay, so that's the 5-step process. The second piece of it, like I mentioned, it's kind of in two halves because, like I say, before I had this good problem of too many ideas and I was taking action on them straight away, which was awesome. But the flip side was before I had that, I was getting the ideas, but I wasn't getting them going. And that, like I mentioned, really came down to my own self-trust. And you might think, well, what does self-trust mean? So, like I say, definitely go if you're kind of interested more in that self-trust piece. I did a show on it a couple of weeks ago about it. But like I say, I mentioned it earlier on. Basically, it's like if you're finding that you're not trusting your ideas, like, do you get ideas and think, can I pull this off? Am I good enough to do this? If you start noticing that imposter syndrome coming in that doubts your own intuition, if you're like, oh, that sounds really good, I really like that, but then the little doubt devil comes in and starts chattering in your mind to say, no, you're not good enough for that. Who do you think you are trying to do something like that? You're not experienced enough. You're not making enough money to do that. You're not successful enough. Fill in the blank. That is what stops you. Or you might be like, and I had that. The other piece that I say, like I mentioned earlier, that I have is I was always needing somebody else, a mentor, a coach, even just a peer, a friend who was in the industry. I felt like I needed somebody else to validate my ideas, my direction, like what I was doing. And that was really damaging because it seriously slowed me down. And so it's only recently that I've really pivoted with that. And that's where I've been like, idea, boom, boof, yes, let's do it. Woo! I don't need someone else to tell me. Like, right now, I don't have a coach, like, not a proper one-to-one coach. And I have had that for several years. And it's really nice because I'm like, actually, I don't need anybody. But I love having a coach and a mentor for those times when it's not a case of because you can't do things on your own, but it's a case of how can someone challenge me? How can somebody see something that maybe I can't see? How can I get some ideas across in terms of streamlining or, growing the business? Those are the things that I need a coach with now. Um, but it's not all the time because my self-trust has been seriously worked on. So if you find yourself, like I say, not trusting your ideas, you don't implement them because of something, recognize that in the first point, and then ask yourself what's stopping you. And if there's no reason for not adding that new idea into your action plan, you feel excited about it and making sure that it keeps you on track for what you're doing, but something still so, so if you've kind of gone, okay, well, if there's no real reason for what's stopping me, like if genuinely, like if you said, okay, well, I'm going to go and perform heart surgery, well, okay, well, you need to know how to do that, So if there is something categorically that would stop you from doing something, then fair enough. But but if there's not, and like I say, if you've gone through those 5 steps and gone, okay, does this fall in line with my goals? Does it keep me on track? Then maybe it is a self-trust issue like I had. And I can't tell you the feeling of the lighter shoulders, like the freeing feeling that I now feel when it comes to my being able to actually not wait. I don't need to wait for a call with a mentor to put my ideas past them. I don't need somebody else to say, yeah, do it, because I trust myself. I know I've got the skills. I know I've got the knowledge. I know I've got the expertise. I know I've got the tech knowledge, like whatever it needs to be in order to do something. Or even if I don't, I'll figure it out. And so, but like I say, I haven't always been there. And so, like I say, it can come off, you get that imposter syndrome. Am I good enough? Who am I to do this? Am I experienced enough? Who's going to buy? No one's going to buy from me because I'm blah, blah, blah. Do you think you might fail and not pull it off, sorry. And so then therefore, are you not taking enough action because of it? Because and we all have it. The little doubt devil. That's, I need to give him a name. Dave. No, Dave the doubt devil. But say, if those are some things that you recognize in yourself, then know that you can work on it. And like I say, that's what I did. And it's been amazing. It's been game changing. So like I say, this topic has kind of got 2 sides of the coin. There's the part of you that doesn't get your ideas into action because of the doubt. But then you've got the other side of it about being organized and strategic about it so that you're not just like a squirrel. Squirrel, because it's so easy to do that. All right. Share with me in the comments, what do you want? What do you take from this? Is there something that you recognized in yourself? Which side of the coin do you think you might be on? So if you feel, if you're happy to share that with me, I'd love to hear from you, like Ellie, what your takeaways are, and then which side of the coin do you think you fit on? Are you someone who loves to get into action straight away and just do things, but it can sometimes be that overwhelm of, oh, I'm trying to do all these things and I'm losing my direction? Or is it you're just not actually doing the action to even implement some of those things? The good news is I wanted to give a resource for you. Okay. So I always put together resources into the show notes of these brilliant new business shows. I'm going to be doing a masterclass soon. So this is something that I've parked, but I know it's something I'm absolutely going to be doing. So I'm going to be doing a live masterclass that will then become, I'll have it on my site that can be, people can go through at another time, but I really want to do this live. So, but if you would be interested in a masterclass where I can help you to accelerate your self-trust, to really get you to have that same freeing feeling that I had with getting rid of Dave, the doubt devil. I'm gonna have to call him Dave now, aren't I? And really leaning into your own intuition and self-trust, knowing that you are good enough. So if you would be interested in a masterclass in that, where I really help you to be able to sort that piece out, um, then like I say, I'm going to be putting together a masterclass. I've created a link for a wait list. If you would like to be part of that, just pop your name on that link, and then obviously once we've got enough people for it, then I'll be giving you all the details of when it's going to get scheduled in. So like I say, I'm going to help you with the self-trust piece, and then we can actually even go through some of that action steps as well, with actually getting those ideas into action when it's suitable. Okay. And say to help you from stop asking other people for validation for your ideas, even just generally, like needing somebody else to say, yes, you're good enough. How would it feel for you if you didn't need to do that anymore? How would it feel for you, like I say, if you could just get these ideas, knowing that you're not doubting whether you can pull it off or not, and you just are then able to get it organized and know that you can get it done? So if that's something that you're interested in, just pop your name on this link. So say right now, this is a waiting list. If you're watching this video and it's like later on, then there will be a link around this as well. So that's what you can just pop your name down. Okay. And then I will be in touch once I have sorted out a date, and can then I'll reach out to you to let you know when it's going to be. Okay. I'm going to put this in the resources section of the show notes. If you want to be able to come back to this video and watch it again, or share it with other people as well. But if you want to be able to come back to it again, or refer to it later, or some people don't necessarily like video and they like to read instead, I'll basically put together show notes where it's a summary of today's show. And say in there's a resources section where I give any resources that I talk about in the show. So I'll put this link in there as well. And obviously then, like I say, in terms of, because all of the content I love to be out there longer term. So then it will be replaced with the real link once it's done. But say right now, this is a waiting list. So I think it'll be awesome. I did a version of it a few months ago and it went down really, really well. So I just want to tweak it. I want to adjust it. So that's why I'm going to do it again live. So I'd love for you to join me. So do join me there. So just pop your name down on that link. Give me your name and email address, and then I will send you details to be able to sign up when it's ready, which would be super cool. Do check around this video for the link to for any kind of links to show notes and stuff like that, and resources that will be there when this is published on other platforms, because I repurposed this video across different places. So cool. Like I say, I hope you found this valuable. If you did, do just pop in #value below and share any takeaways with me that you had. I always love to make sure that I am providing you with helpful things to help you grow your business with confidence. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you hanging out with me and spending your time with me. Share the love if you found this useful. Tag, share, do all the things if you think other people might find this useful. And join me next week where I'll be back for another episode of the Brilliantly You Business Show. Have an amazing rest of your day. Lots of love, and I'll see you soon. Bye.